What's up, taters? This is Tree from treeoflogic.com. Right now, there is an uprising. There's a big protest going on in Cuba, but this video will not be released today, which is a Sunday. It will be released tomorrow, Monday afternoon. But I wanted to make a video about it because this is very dear to my heart in reference to Cuba and Cubans. Believe it or not, I actually visited Cuba when it was forbidden for American citizens to come there. I was living in Germany at the time, and the best way, and even if you live in America, there's ways of going around it, even though there aren't any direct flights. I don't think there are any direct flights from America to Cuba. But at the time, in order to get to Cuba, if you're an American citizen, you can leave there from either Jamaica or the Bahamas, and or any place in the EU or Europe. And I left it from, I went to the Bahamas in order to go to Cuba. And what they do is when you give your American passport, they don't stamp it. Okay, which was so cool, but it also was a little like scary too, because it's like, wow, no one knows I'm here. But because they know that it was, we were not supposed to be there if we're Americans, they would not stamp our passport, but they knew we were there. And I'm gonna tell you something, I fell in love with the people there. It was a very beautiful place. I was at San Diego, the San Diego area of Cuba, and I enjoyed the people. They were so friendly, so welcoming, so loving too. And you really get to see what communism is all about. Now, of course, I have witnessed a lot of the after effects of communism in Germany, in East Berlin, after the wall was taken down, and going through a lot of the museums and listening to my friends who actually lived under the DDR. But when you actually see communism live in effect, you really understand, like, wow, communism is a crapshoot. And you really think about the people in America, Americans who are pushing for them. You really see them as evil people the way I do when you really see communism at work. And also, Cubans are, when they do come to America or they escape to come to America, they are more likely to lean right. They are more likely to vote Republican because a lot of the left push for communism. And when you came from communism, you are not going to be on the party of communists. So this is another reason why you should love Cubans, because a lot of them will vote right. And with them in Florida, I don't see Florida turning blue anytime soon, and they are in love with DeSantis. So anyway, I'm going to read this. We're going to look at a couple of videos here too, because another great thing about what they're doing in Cuba, because they love America and because they love our flag, the American flag, just like in Hong Kong, in Cuba, when they show the flag, it is to represent freedom. When we have a lot of commies here who grew up under capitalism, spoiled, rotten, ignorant individuals, libtards on the left who don't appreciate the great country we have, where you have the freedom of speech, and they don't understand police brutality. Sweetie, you want to see police brutality? Cuba will show it to you. They have the black berets. They also have a lot of police officers in plain clothes pretending to be civilians, and you don't even know they're police officers. And they're very, very, very corrupt. And sometimes you don't know a good thing until you see other people live under these conditions the way I have. And you begin to appreciate what you have here in America. So they were flying the flag, appreciating liberty and freedom that we have here, that they want to have in their country. And I really hope that this comes through for them. We don't know, but I'm really, really hoping to be optimistic, because I would love for Cuba to get from the underneath of communism. I don't know if that's going to be possible with President Biden in the Oval Office. These people are left-leaning and they tend to go against Cubans because they know that they're under communism. And let's be honest, Democrats are pro-communism. And I don't know if they're going to get our help, or Biden is, or whoever's running the country using Biden as a puppet is going to actually come through for Cuba. So massive demonstration in Cuba demanding freedom, waving American flags, taking on the police. As we previously reported, there are thousands out in the streets across Cuba, from small towns to big cities, calling for freedom from the communist government and chanting, "We are not afraid." People are saying it is the largest mass protest since 1959. Wow. So we're watching a historic event right now. If you know your Cuban history, that's the last time the government changed hands, when Fidel Castro took power. So that's an incredibly significant thing to say. So yeah, my heart goes out to you all. I really wish I was down there celebrating with everybody in Cuba right now, protesting and hoping that this goes through. But I don't know, with Biden coming through. Let's watch a couple of these videos right here. And these are the Cubans in the street, and they're flying the American flag, which is symbolism for freedom. Isn't it amazing? We have people in foreign lands like Hong Kong and Cuba having more respect and honor for our flag than the spoiled, rotten people. I'm trying not to use profanity. Rotten idiots on the left here in this country. Let's watch. And they go to American flag. Okay, here we have another one right here. That's what they're gonna march. So they're marching with the American flag in front of them to represent freedom. And this is all over. Okay, now I want to read this to you to show you how corrupt their government is, the police are, and just how dangerous it is to be in Cuba. They don't have it the way that we have it here in this country. People, the commies on the left were talking about, oh, we need the type of standardized medicine and healthcare that they have in communist country. Are you serious? I mean, if you really look at their hospitals, you're just, in my opinion, you're better off just being sick. Now, I have to admit that the tourist area, they will do their best to keep you from integrating into the other areas of the, or shall I say, the poverty areas. Actually, most of it is poverty areas in Cuba. But after a while, they don't really stand there and keep you from coming out of the tourist area, the resort area. You get to go into those cities and the villages and the communities to see how they really live, to actually talk to the people. And it's a culture shock. But right here, Cuban state security dressed in civilian clothes just pulled out a revolver and attacked a peaceful pro-democracy demonstrator. The brave protester told him, "Shoot me in the chest, MF." So let's watch that. This is really crazy. It's amazing.
No voy a quitar el teléfono. No voy a quitar el teléfono. El teléfono es mío. El teléfono es mío. No voy a quitarte. No voy a quitar el teléfono. No. No te pongas de falta de respeto.
Sí.
Cuidadito.
Oye,
papá.
dispara, tira aquí en el pecho, mira, en el pecho, en el pecho, en el pecho, te estoy filmando.
Suelta eso.
No te dando manotazo, no te dando manotazo, que lo que es. ¿Qué te he hecho? ¿Qué te he hecho? ¿Qué te he hecho, cojones? ¿Qué te he hecho? Tira, tira, cojones, tira. Tira,
Esa para allá. Esa para allá.
tira, tira, su maricón, tira, cojones. Tira, 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 cojones, tira. Oye, tira, tira, ¿qué pasó? Oye, ¿qué pasó? Oye, mira, mira para acá, mira, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué van a quitar de qué? ¿Qué van a quitar de qué?
Está bueno allá, está bueno allá.
Mira, mira, tranquilo. No me toque, no me toque. No me toque, yo te envío.
And so right now he's being attacked by the other two secret police. Those of you who don't know, and I don't know what they're saying. Hold on a second. I don't know what they're saying, but let me see. Where is he? Those right here. These two right here are also secret police, and they actually jumped him while he was filming. So that's when you see his camera get covered up. That's because the other two came after him.
No me toque, no me toque. No me toque, yo te envío. Suéltame, cabrones. Suéltame el teléfono. Suéltame el teléfono.
So yeah, and then of course, down in Florida, we're about to watch another video where we're gonna see the protests in Cuba, and then we're gonna see the actual protests in Havana, the part of Miami. I think there's a section in Miami, it was the Havana, and the South Keys, where they're actually protesting in solidarity for the Cubans, hoping that this one will actually make a difference.
Off the top tonight, we begin with that unprecedented uprising. Calls for change in Cuba resonating loudly right here in South Florida as thousands take to the streets of Little Havana, setting off what could be the long-awaited turning point for that island nation.
All of this mirroring the movement going on in the country right now. Cubans on the island demanding freedom and help amid a humanitarian crisis. It's a battle that's stretched for generations, but may now be reaching the boiling point.
Our team is converging and covering every angle of this story. Local 10's Hatzel Vela leads us off tonight with the latest developments just into the newsroom. Hatzel.
So, Laren and Alex, in communist Cuba, we have seen protests before, but never in the 62 years since Fidel Castro took over have we seen protests this massive and as expansive. Down with the dictatorship, down with the Castros. Not sound from Miami, but from Havana. Proof Cubans have lost their fear of government as the country plunges into a serious political, social, and economic downturn. The government has money to build hotels, this man tells us, but the Cuban people are starving. Lack of food, medicine, an out-of-control pandemic, and a failing state-run economy are partly the reason thousands of Cubans are taking to the streets. Throughout the day, the videos kept popping up on social media. It seems like the first social outcry started in San Antonio de los Baños, a small town 20 miles south of Havana. Then we heard people took to the streets in Matanzas, Palma Soriano, Bayamo, Santiago de Cuba, and in Havana. This is video from the famous waterfront Malecón, where you hear people chanting. This man tells the camera it's over, likely talking about the 62-year-old revolution. People chanting freedom. At times, Cubans without fear confronting the police, and the fight seen here. In this video, Cubans turn over a police car. Hundreds also seen at the center of town near the historic Capitolio building.
El pueblo salió a expresarse libremente y están reprimiendo y están dando golpes y eso es inadmisible.
This Catholic priest told us Cubans simply came out to express themselves freely, and they're oppressing and beating people, adding this was unacceptable. Despite years of religious oppression, today in the town of Bejucal, also south of Havana, we saw people gather around the image of the patron saint, La Virgen de la Caridad, while asking for freedom. The government is cracking down, arresting many and sending out the military to patrol the streets. Cuba's president blames the protest on U.S. intervention.
Y por eso también aquí estamos convocando
and urges pro-government revolutionaries to take to the streets and counter-protest. And so some tonight are telling us that's concerning. My sources in Cuba tell me they fear that this call to action by the president is simply pitting Cubans against Cubans, and there could be bloodshed, they say. For now, reporting live from the newsroom, Hatsupala, send it back to you.
And Hatzel, you mentioned bloodshed there. Have you had any reports from any of your sources that in fact is happening to a certain extent? Are we hearing those types of reports at this hour?
You're right. It's happening to a certain extent. And when I say that, just minor incidents with police, we have seen some video where we have seen some folks with bloody faces. And again, we also saw an Associated Press photographer who was injured, but we're told he's doing just fine, that they're checking to make sure everything's okay, but he's expected to be okay.
What's so dangerous about the police in Cuba is that they are in plain clothes. You understand that? It's like having an unmarked car and you're breaking the speed limit. I mean, they will, it's almost like entrapment. And when you have these type of armed people, armed police officers who are just dressed like protesters, okay, they can just come out together, like say for instance it's like 6 of them and they're all in regular clothes. Then they may get the ones who's the loudest or the ones who's really like motivating the crowd and get him or her. So this is what I'm saying. A lot of times these people, these libtards, these commies in America, they really don't know what corruption is. You want to see corrupt police? Go to Nigeria. Go to Zimbabwe. Okay, Mugabe is the most ruthless communist African leader in Africa. Oh yeah, you know that place that y'all not trying to go to, but you want to pay homage to by flying red, black, and green flags here in America, but you have no intentions on going over there when most of the African countries operate under communism. And communism has killed way more. They have killed over 100 million people versus Nazism killing 6 million people. Now, I know both of them are bad. Nazism is bad. But baby, communism makes Nazism look like a cakewalk. All right? So I'm sorry, when you want to sit up here and compare who's worse, it is communism hands down. Communism deals with ethnic cleansing, and also those individuals who want to celebrate the LGBT community. I like to see you try to have that successfully under communism. It's the thing about it is that this is also, I'm going on a little rant here. But this is the reason why I like DeSantis, is because DeSantis wants this to be taught in school. I was taught this. This was taught in my historical black university. When I went to an all-black university, I was taught about this, about communism, and I was taught about the communist countries, and I was taught about how communism is evil and awful, and I was taught about the Red Scare. All of this was very relevant. So when I see people, especially on Twitch or on the left, sit up here with a hammer and sickle, I am looking at a mentally demented person who knows nothing about history and definitely does not care about the rights of women, gays, or blacks. Okay, because here's the deal. You think these same people, these same commie-loving libtards who are flying these communist Stalin, Russian, the CCP flag, they're going to be the first one up against the wall. All right. But I can go on and on. Let's watch so now we're going to go into the solidarity they're having the protests they're having in South Florida.
Havana to right here at home.
Local 10's Terrell Fournay is live in Little Havana with the massive show of support that's still going strong hours later. Terrell.
And here we are just after 11 o'clock tonight, and take a look at just how many people are behind me. These folks have just as much momentum now as they did when they first arrived just after 3 o'clock this afternoon. One man actually came up to me a short time ago and tells me that he's been very moved by what he is seeing out of those images in Cuba. He really says that he's waited 62 years to see a day just like today. Their message is just as symbolic as it is meticulous.
The Cuban people have been demanding human rights for 62 years.
It's been a long time coming. We just want to be free. We want food. We want supplies.
90 miles away from the communist island of Cuba, South Floridians gathered by the hundreds with Cuban flags and signs right outside of Versailles restaurant in Little Havana. And even as far south as Key West, where demonstrators used more horns and other noisemakers to draw attention to Cuba's humanitarian crisis, which has hit a boiling point for people living there and their loved ones who feel helpless here.
COVID's going bad. We don't have vaccines. We don't have enough supplies in the hospitals. People are dying.
That's true, man. That's true.
And right now, we just want to get back to our people, man, because we come from that struggle.
I want to see the president to see something and to do something for Cuba now, because this is the moment. If not, they're going to kill the people in Cuba, and it's just going to be for nothing.
This is true. This is so true.
So many people moved by the risky protests in Cuba showed up to line Southwest 8th Street for much of Sunday. So much so that police were forced to shut down the roadway for safety and to give demonstrators space.
The end of the Castro regime, the end of the communist regime in Cuba is not negotiable. Today is the day that Cubans want their freedom.
City of Miami Mayor Francis Suarez showed up to express his solidarity for the Cuban people, and County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava was moved enough to make an impromptu appearance.
Hope that all of this incredible support will help move the island to freedom. I hope that we're going to be able to bring democracy to Cuba with this effort.
This is a first step, and this is a first for many steps.
First of many steps, because change does not happen overnight, but people here are really optimistic that this really is the dawn of a new day for the people who live in Cuba. The City of Miami Police Department, they have been out here in force, rerouting traffic around this area and keeping an eye on the crowd. In fact, as of right now, Southwest 32nd Avenue, between 32nd Avenue and 37th Avenues remains shut down here along Southwest 8th Street. So it's unclear how long the folks will be out here continuing their demonstrations, but we will certainly have another update for you on the Local 10 Morning News. For now, that's the latest live from Little Havana.
Okay. Anyway, it is a shame that we got President Biden in the Oval Office, you know what I'm saying? Because if Trump was in there, it would be a wrap. It would be a wrap. But I just don't see, I don't see the communist-loving left and the demon rats doing anything about this. I really hope this leads into the direction of Cuba and Cubans becoming free of communism, of a dictatorship. I really would love for it to be free. And because I would love to go back and visit the rest of Cuba. It's a little dangerous to do what I did, but nothing happened to me. I just don't recommend everybody do it. It's just that, I'm pretty, it is what it is, but I'm just really hoping that this works out for the best for the Cuban people. Like I said, I love Cubans. I love people. I love the people from Venezuela. So these are conservatives. These are people who understand communism. And let's not forget, when Bernie when it was revealed that Bernie loved communism, he was pushing for communism, that is when the Cuban people was like, we are done. There's no way. And that's when Florida turned deep red. And it's going to be red for a very long time, especially with the way that the left has been acting. So, yeah, come 2022, there's going to be a lot of changes. But let's hope that one of those changes will also be our Cuban neighbors, South Side, that will actually end their suffering under a communist leadership, you know what I'm saying, and basically bringing them the democracy that we here enjoy along with capitalism and that we enjoy here in America. But let me know what you think by leaving a comment below. I would love to see what you think. Do you think this is going to last long? Do you think that President Biden is going to mess it up? You know, I have been mad at Trump doing a lot of things, but I must admit, this is really one of those many, many times that I wish, you know, saying everything did not happen the way that it did to keep him out of office, and that he could be there to help the Cuban people, because I know he would. But let me know what you guys think by leaving a comment below this video. Also, leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe so you can join my family. I'll talk to you all next time. Later, taters.